My name is Cindy. Everyone calls me Cin, and I'm a creative. Fashion has, I think, always been a part of who I am. As far back as I can remember, I've always just been in that world and imagined myself in fashion. For an example, last year I went to New York Fashion Week, and that was a pivotal moment for me because I had always imagined myself being in New York, even as a kid, you know, opening magazines and watching shows. And I never knew I could get there. I never thought in a million years I could get there. And so I feel like over the past couple of years, I've really focused on deserving, feeling like I could deserve this. I'm sorry, not that I could, that I did. I deserved to be in these rooms with these people. I deserved to be on a billboard in New York, you know, in Times Square. I deserved to have my own show. I deserved to have all these things, and I think that's what kind of pushed me towards the fashion world, is because I inserted myself in that. Does that make sense? I've always known that I wanted to be a fashion designer, an artist in general, because I love to paint, I love to draw. But as a young youth in Texas, a minority at that, there was a strong opinion that was forced upon me that being an artist wouldn't make you money and it wouldn't create a future for you. And so I excluded fashion from my world, artistry from my world. And I went the route of business. And now, there's a reason for everything when you think about it. Business has been essential in my line, in my career path as far as fashion design. I truly wholeheartedly believe that if it wasn't for me going the route that I did, I might have started a little bit late. But if it wasn't for this route that I would have taken, I would have missed a lot of those key components of starting a brand or starting a fashion line. I feel everything so much. But that's just, I feel like that's what makes me fully be able to like tap in. I feel music a different way, and I see colors a different way. Even black, the interpretation of the color black is like, to me, it's not the same when you see fashion, you know. Color, black can scream in light, you know, it can scream power, it can scream pain, it can scream, you know, rebirth, all of these things. And sometimes when people think of the color black, like, oh, it's just so dark and structured and that's it, but it's really not, you know. Some of the deepest, darkest waters are black, and they're beautiful. My earliest memory is of my mother walking away when she dropped me off at a shelter. I remember her walking, and I could see her dark, curly, dark hair, just hourglass figure, getting in a car and driving away. My older sister was holding my hand at the time. I spent all of my childhood, all the way up into my teen years, bouncing from home to home. And the moment I turned 18, the system kind of kicked me out and said, go figure it out. So as soon as I aged out of the system, I lived in my car for a little while. And then I got my first apartment, like almost 19 years old. I think a lot of people fall through the cracks when they get into the system. They either, I look at life, this is how I see life. I see life as a road, and you can choose to go this way or you can choose to go that way. Every time you make a turn, that'll determine your next outcome. so I feel like I've been going the right way for a long time. As early back as I can remember, every decision I've made was, I've already been through this, or I've seen someone else do something, so I don't want to go down that path. And that, I feel like, has really changed my life, you know? I live okay. I live okay. And that's because I made really, really hard decisions that kind of pushed me to be who I am today. And that was because I didn't have a choice. I didn't have anyone to lean on. I didn't have no fallback. There was no fallback. It was me, and that's it. So foster care in a way is, I'm grateful for it. Like, I'm not mad, no bitterness. But there's a lot of people out there who don't see life like that. It's the mentality of, why me? And I've never been like that, you know. When I got taken away from my mother, when I met my mother, I was like, there's a reason why I got taken away. So, yeah. I have a bar for myself, I would say. I'm not there yet. But each time I grow, each single time I grow, it's like I always remember to turn back around and look behind me and say, how can I bring somebody else along the way? How can I give back? Whether that's a small, you know, small amounts of giving back or something big. And this nonprofit, the whole reason I chose them was because they're new. No one really knows what they're doing. They don't have a lot of platform yet, but they're doing such incredible things. And I was like, how can I share my platform? And so that's why I chose them.
Every time I close my eyes, close my